Most people don't believe you'll cut them off. Why? Because you haven't cut them off yet. People that you cut off, they know they do things that they need to be cut off for, but they don't believe you have what it takes to cut them off. Why? Because you've taken this and you've taken that and you've allowed them to get away with things and you've allowed them to press your buttons and you've allowed them to disrespect you and you've allowed them to talk bad on your name. You know what you do? You let them right back into your circle. As a matter of fact, you never put them out. So they have every right to believe that you're going to take more and more and more because you've already taken too much. Nobody's ever going to look at you and say, you know what, you take too much from me, but I'm going to stop because you're such a good person. That's not human nature. You have to force people to respect you. You have to force people to value your presence in their life. And sometimes the only way to do that is to cut them off and make them value you in recollection. I remember when this person was a part of my life. I remember when I had access to this person. I remember when the positive energy that this person brings to a situation was brought to my life. But now I also see what my life is like without that person in it. These are the things we must understand. You got to understand this. You owe it to yourself to detach from negative people. You have to remove negative people from your life, not because they're negative, but because you're positive. You don't care what they are. You don't care about your space, about your energy, about your focus, about your determination, about your drive. You care about what makes you tick. You care about what makes you move forward. That's what you need to be focused on. And anybody who offends that or comes within an inch of offending that, hell, even a mile of defending that, you must defend that from the offenders. You must do it. Because when someone is around you and their energy is negative, then you can't even source your own positive energy. It's your punishment for allowing people with negative energy around you. Your punishment is that you must then accept the fact that you can't even latch on to your own positive energy. Your positive energy disappears from you. You know you're positive, but you can't use that energy and get the benefit of it in the world like you used to. It doesn't take much for people to detach you from your energy. See, we call it energy draining, but what it is, energy draining starts with detachment from your energy. As long as you're attached to your energy and you're holding on to it tight, it can't be drained. It can only be drained when you let it go. When you start focusing on other things, when you start focusing on other people, when you start focusing on how something can benefit someone else versus how it can benefit you, when you start focusing on how you can benefit someone, even if you don't get a benefit from them, that's not the reality of this life. You only have so much to give. And if you don't receive anything in return, you run out of things to give. That's just reality of it. If you're donating 100,000 a year to charity because you're making 1 million a year, when you start making 50,000 a year and you still trying to donate 100,000 a year to charity, eventually your savings and investments and everything is going to drain because you can't give more than you have to give. When you run out of energy to give, there's no new energy coming your way. You got to understand that people with negative energy automatically negatively affect your life. There's no one with negative energy that can positively affect your life. What are you thinking? There's no one. It's like there's no one who's broke that can loan you money. Are you going to ask someone that's broke to loan you 10 bands? No, you're not. Why? Because you know they don't have it. It's the same thing with people with negative energy. You can't believe they're going to affect your life in any way but negative. What are you thinking? They're going to affect it positive? How? When they don't even have any positive energy. They don't have positive energy and don't respect yours. They don't want to take your energy so you can stop so they can stop being so negative. They want to take your energy so you can stop being so positive. People who have a negative outlook on life, they don't enjoy looking at your life and seeing how much positive energy you have towards your own life. They don't enjoy that. It's an eyesore to see you coming and an ear sore to hear you bragging. They say you brag when all you're doing, you can give all the glory to God. And then you know what they say, all you do is come around and brag. Well, I'm bragging. Yes, if I'm bragging on how good God is to me because God believes I'm going to be good. King Abraham, appreciate the 25 bone. Brother, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Famo, salute, brother. Appreciate you being in the joint, man. I'm glad you made it, brother. Glad you made it. See, what we must understand is when it all boils down, it's not your responsibility to keep people around and force them to believe in you. and force them to believe in your positivity and force them to embrace your positive energy for what it is. If someone wants to drain you, who are you to try to teach them to stop being an energy drainer? How much energy are you going to waste trying to teach somebody to not be what they are? It's a hard enough battle to make sure you keep being what you need to be. You don't have it. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy, you don't have the effort to do these things. So my firm belief is that if you already have negative energy, I'm gonna cut you off. I don't want to give you any of my positive energy. My energy is meant to connect with people who already have positive energy. I'm not trying to change negative energy people into positive people. Who does that? I'm trying to make sure that I can enhance my positive energy by surrounding myself with other positive energy, just like everyone else does. You can't be a man that's all about getting in shape and working out and eating clean, and all you do is deal with people who are all about having all the fun that they can have in life and not worrying about health, not worrying about health is wealth. They don't care nothing about losing fat. They don't care nothing about building muscle. They don't care nothing about looking lean. They don't care nothing about having, of regulating their blood pressure. They don't care nothing about, having a very respectable resting heart rate. They don't care about any of that. So who are you to deal with people who aren't going in the same direction you're going? Only two things can happen. One of these two things can happen when two people are going in the same direction. Either you're going to pull them with you, or when two people are going in opposite directions, rather, if you're going to pull them with you to your direction, or they're going to pull you, or they're going to pull you with them to theirs. Worst case scenario, you both don't go anywhere and you stay stuck because you're trying to hold on to each other. Cutting people off is not about being mean. Cutting people off is about replacing people who don't fit anymore. It's like a man who's single and then he marries and have 3 kids. Well, guess what? His little sports car doesn't work. It's the most impractical car in his yard. He got 3 kids now, 2 of them twins, and they little. He don't even have time to drive a sports car anymore. So he decides he's going to get a more practical vehicle. So he gets an SUV. It may be a Range, Escalade V. It could be anything. It could be a Bentley Bentayga. Who knows? But it's an SUV. He understands that the 2-seater coupe is not a car for a man who has a family. It's the same thing with you. Negative people aren't the people for a man who is constantly striving to make his energy positive, for a man who is constantly striving to have a positive effect on the world, for a man who is constantly striving to make sure that people get more benefit than detriment from his presence in their life, for a man who's trying to keep a positive relationship with the Most High, where the Most High blesses him because he believes that this man is going to continue to be on the path that he needs to be on. Those people aren't meant to be in your life. And it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter who they are. The only thing that matters is what they do. Sometimes the closest people around you aren't related to you. Sometimes your biggest enemies are the people that are related to you. So what do? Well, they're related to me, so I'm just going to deal with their negative energy. No, you're related to me. You shouldn't be giving me negative energy. It's not my job to accept your negative energy. It's your job not to give it to me if we family and you got love for me. You got to value your life more than you value the fun you have with somebody, than the laughs you have with somebody, than the memories you build with somebody. You got to love your life more than that. Those memories need to be made on the course of your path. That fun needs to be had on the course of your path. How much is your life worth to you? My life is worth everything to me. I don't want to have anybody around that's going to bring any negative energy into my life, because you never know how heavy their negative energy is going to be. Man, let me tell you something. There are some people out there with some energy so negative. It don't matter how positive you are. It don't matter how strong you think you are spiritually. There are some people out there that will drain even the strongest of us. That's why God tells us to avoid those people. Avoid the wicked men. Avoid the evildoers. Avoid those who sit and constantly think of evil imaginations and evil machinations, and all they want to do is create turmoil in the world. You got to avoid those people. Preventive maintenance, just like you do everything else. You don't wait until your motor locks up to get your oil changed on your car. When you change your oil, right? When it's time to change your oil, you change your oil because you don't want your car to start knocking. You don't ride around with low antifreeze in your car. Why don't you do it? Because it doesn't make sense. You know your car isn't going to stop. That's how you have to do life as well, preventive maintenance.